Good morning, gamers. Welcome to the Demon Zone. And let me tell you, gamers, it's been a week. Some of you may have caught the Nintendo stream on Wednesday. We had Brian, formerly of Let's Fight a Boss, on there, and that was a fun as hell stream. That was really, really great. I don't know. I don't know if we'll do an edited version or not, but it was really fun. It was so fucking fun to make like content with Brian again. We also had the release of the Unreality of Pro Wrestling redo. The Unreality of Pro Wrestling Vengeance, the Unreality of Pro Wrestling Royale, and the Unreality of Pro Wrestling Ultimax. And just want to say thanks to everyone for the response on that. I was really stressed putting that video out. I was like, are people going to be receptive to what is basically a redo of a video? And it was really cool seeing people happy about
Great
it.
video, boss. I love to have emotions about wrestling, a thing I do not watch or follow in any capacity except for when you do a video about it. Off to read Shield fanfic now.
Jules, I am happy to be of service. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for the 19-month subscription. But yeah, it felt really good to it felt really good to actually finally have that video out. I won't reiterate the whole thing, but getting the video, like finishing the video was like half the problem, and then actually like getting it out and getting it past copyright has been a month-long nightmare. That was so stressful, and it was like, fuck, I hope I can actually do, like, release this thing to people that, I've put so much goddamn work into at this point. And it was crazy. It was really wild. In a crazy update, the video is now out, but it's also actually monetized, so it seems like I might get paid for it. I don't know if that's certain or not, but I just did want to mention that because I know in the video I said, like, it's not, there's no way it's going to be monetized. That's my experience with every other wrestling video I've ever done. It seems this one I actually might get paid for, which is fucking crazy to think about. But also just want to say thank you so much to everyone who, like, bought t-shirts, joined the Patreon, and just, is subscribing for the Twitch, because it really helps smooth out the wild ride that is making money on the internet. I acknowledge you. I'm joining the Patreon. Thank you, Manar105.
Thanks for the video. I haven't sat down to watch it yet, but I can't wait to have another video to watch with a beer and a cozy evening with my girlfriend, and I look forward to falling asleep to it 50 plus times in a couple of years.
Great, sir. Thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed the video, buddy. I hope you and your girlfriend both enjoy it. And Godspeed on the falling asleep to it in 50 plus years. There was a point where I was making that video and I was like, this video is so long. This is going to be like prime super eye patch wolf fall asleep to material. I know that's what people are going to use this video for. And hey, look, I got no issue with it. I get it. What am I falling asleep to right now? I'm falling asleep to a book it's called Last Action Heroes, and it's about 80s cinema heroes and like how the action genre came to be what it was in cinema. And it's a really good book. It just fills me with the chillest vibes, That's exactly what I did when I saw it. There's something really funny about, like, I put so much time and energy into those videos, and like chat, like I watch them over and over and over and over and over, and like I'm like, oh, this bit's a bit too fucking long, and then sometimes, you know what, I lose my mind over? Do you know what I will actually mentally tear myself apart over? Sometimes when you're cutting clips together, for a moment on screen there flashes like a frame from another clip that you just didn't catch. So like you're watching like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Randy Orton, The Rock, and it's like it's just a flash on screen. And I always see it in other people's videos, and I judge the fuck out of them for it. And sometimes I see it in my own videos towards the end, and I get so stressed about it. I get so stressed about this stray image being on screen for 1/60th of a second. That's how, like, anal I get about videos towards the end, right? And then I think about that. And then I think about the fact that someone sees the video and is like, oh yeah, a Super Eye Patch Wolf video. Time to fall asleep. And it shows me how silly I am about videos. But I don't know. Gotta be silly about something, right? Rabo1621, thank you for the bits. Get paid for this, nerd. But like, actually, happily.
That's right, boys. Mondo cool.
Fahrenhoth, thank you for the subscription, my friend. I appreciate it. The quality control pays off. I have caught every single stray frame in this video. I have seen all of them. Hey, there's only 2 Soccer Tetris that I'm aware of. There could be more. But you see, the thing is, I think by getting that anal about it, and like by drilling down into it that much, like the only point that you have given your all to a piece of art that I am able to recognize is when you start fixing shit that doesn't matter. And I think at some point you have to take a step back from that and be like, okay, it's done. I have clearly reached the precipice of lunacy on this project, and now I just need to move on and work on something else. Likes the Little Fox Kid quote about like Becky Lynch. Yeah, that was great. 2/3 of the video is stray frames. No! Don't say that! John, was the shot of the tattoo in the video a reveal? When was this footage taken? I'm losing my mind. I don't know what you're referring to. I couldn't possibly know.
That's right, boys. Mondo cool.
But yeah, it genuinely, I really feel like that video has been such a saga, and I really feel that I feel a monkey is off my back. I feel like I can kind of breathe again, and I'm looking forward to making the next things, which are going to be so different. I finished the second draft of my Void Stranger script today, and I would say before a script goes out, it usually hits about 4 drafts before I'm willing to record it, and way more after that. Like it's the way I do it is I usually do 4 drafts, and then I watch it back, and then pretty much make the video again, pretty much just start again, and like, fuck it, let's throw it all out, and because now we know what not to do. And I am so excited about the Void Stranger video. It's so completely different to the wrestling video. And when I went into it, I genuinely didn't know, like, if you've played Void Stranger, how the fuck do you talk about that game? Like, how do you actually talk about what that game is in a way that will be interesting to people who have never played it? And honestly, I think I found a way. And the only thing is, it's going to be a long one. And
Hello, John. Thank you for an amazing update to an already great video and the countless hours of entertainment.
Ultra Peg Leg Cat, thank you so much for picking up some merch from mypatchwolves.com. Appreciate it. Yeah, the only thing is, it's like 16 pages, which I think is going to equate to about somewhere between an hour and 15 minutes and an hour and a half. And part of me is like, I don't really want to jump into another mega long video. So I might just sneak in a sneaky little favorite things for the next upload, bang that out in like 3 or 4 weeks, and then dive into this fucking monster Void Stranger video. John, I think it speaks to the quality of the video that my ADHD brain considered forwarding to the old segments, but then I just got engrossed in the minutes of flow. Yes, I think those old sections hold up in that video, and I'm glad you didn't skip it, because I also think that, like, I don't know, like, I'd be curious to get you guys' opinion on this, chat. Like, I feel like the reason I wanted to include those old sections and not just make a new video from the Cody sections is in that final 30 minutes, when those stories start flowing together, we're able to contrast them and we're able to see how similar they both are. And then that makes it more heartbreaking when we can see how differently they both handled their past. Like, that was my thinking going into it. And I haven't spent a lot of time looking at, like, the internet, because I don't really do that when a video goes live, because it's just too scary to me. Like, there's just too much feedback and there's too much people just talking. But my sense from, like, the people I know who messaged me is that kind of paid off. Yeah, didn't feel repetitive. I'm glad. The old part, yeah. I'm really glad that people enjoyed that part of it. So guys, I want to play some video games today, but I think I also kind of just want to hang out for a little bit. I tried to download Silent Hill Homecoming for today's stream, and that game is crashing like a motherfucker. Holy shit, I don't think that game works on Steam. John, would you ever do a one-shot D&D game streamed? I'd think about it. BB, I have been slowly luring my other female friends into liking wrestling with me, and your video helped bait them in. I'm so glad to hear that, BB. Anxiety Goral, thank you for the resubscription. Homecoming here, impossible. The Stunt Lady, you're right, it actually is impossible. That game is so fucking broken that it doesn't work on stream. Did you see the new Fatal Fury character they added? Yeah. Serious Bichon, yeah, if you have a suggestion for a game, let me know, buddy. Yeah, who the fuck is that? Who's... It's not another soccer player, is it? We can stick on the trailer. It was like, there's a new Fatal Fury character, and I don't know. Please tell me we're continuing Don't Look Outside. We can continue Don't Look Outside, if that's what people... I'd be curious to play more of that game. That was pretty fun. Thoughts on Wonderful 101? It's fine. I think that game achieves a lot more through style than it does its mechanics. Not that its mechanics aren't interesting, but so much of that game is waiting for an enemy to do the attack you can counter, and I don't love that. I hear he's a DJ that's liked by the Saudi crowd. He's a DJ from Sweden. Yeah. John, I've got the void ending in Void Stranger and now trying for another run without getting voided. How the fuck did people find a lot of the secrets without a guide? Moisture Mo, I think now knowing, I would say most of the secrets in Void Stranger, I would say you can do it if you are patient enough and willing to go into that game enough times with an open mind. I think the problem is that a lot of people aren't going to have that patience, and that's not their fault. Like, I was having a talk with another content creator about, like, Void Stranger, and they said that one of their fans had said Void Stranger is the best game ever, it's just people are idiots. And I actually disagree with that. I don't think people are idiots. I think people just have jobs, people have lives and families and responsibilities, And it means that that they don't have the time to understand what is so fucking incredible about Void Stranger. And what I want to do is make a video that shows people. But then the problem is, how do you show people that without ruining what System Erasure have done, without spoiling it? And I think I found a solution. And I think I found a really fucking weird and fun solution, but yeah. Okay, so here's my problem with guest characters in fighting games, okay? I understand that when guest characters in a fighting game, that fighting game gets a big boost.
That's right, boys. Mondo cool.
Les_GX, thank you for the subscription. But I think that boost comes at a cost, right? So when you say, like, when you do Negan or Clive from Final Fantasy, all of a sudden Walking Dead characters give a shit about Tekken, Final Fantasy fans give a shit about Tekken, right? But the thing is, like, I wonder how many of those fans actually kind of stick around and convert into proper hardcore fighting game fans, because I would bet it's not a lot, and it doesn't need to be, because if it generates like new sales for a fighting game, that's great, right? However, take Jury, who was an additional character for Street Fighter 4 and has become a massive fucking part of Street Fighter. Like, everyone knows who Jury is now. You know, wrestlers cosplay Jury. It's like the average gamer knows who Jury Han is, and she's become like this beloved part of Street Fighter. What if Jury's slot had been taken up by a guest character? All of a sudden, you have a weaker Street Fighter. You know, you have a Street Fighter that has resonated less with people, because I would argue, like, still, even in the case of 5, no character has resonated with pop culture as much as Jury in modern Street Fighter. And my problem with guest characters in fighting games is they're a short-term spike of attention, but I mean, you are losing the potential to invent a character in Fatal Fury that could be as big as Terry Bogard. You know, you're losing the ability to you're losing a character slot that could be the next Jury. You know, and so I think while guest characters are inarguably beneficial for fighting games in the short term, I think long term they sap character slots that could potentially benefit those games. Like, a Street Fighter game is never going to release again without Jury entering at some point. You know, you're never going to get a numbered Street Fighter without Jury, but the next Fatal Fury game isn't going to have that footballer in it. They're not going to have that DJ in it. And so I think that sucks. Like, I roll my eyes whenever I see a guest character in a fighting game now. I don't want Clive in Tekken. I'm not going to play him. I'm not interested in playing him. You know, I want to see Makoto. You know, I want to see people who are actually going to benefit the long-term fiction of that fighting game. And for every Jury, you get Rufus, Falk, etc. Now that's totally fair, but what I would say is that's a creative failing on Capcom. You know, I don't think that like the guest character replacing that is better. This is all Link's fault. I mean, at least Link was cool. Bring back Hakan. Oh, brother, I'm with you. I was a Hakan main. I love Hakan. I want to see Sagat. Yeah, no, me too. Yeah, but it's for dollars. I know, but it's like, god damn it. I think the amount of Jury merch they have sold speaks for itself, you know. But who hating on Falk? I will not hear this Link slander. Caddis Link was good. Any good Irish fighting game character? Nina Williams is cool, but her Irish ethnicity is in question because there's like support material for Tekken that suggests she's not actually Irish, which is such a bummer. There's a weird there's a weird pattern in video games where Irish characters become less Irish the longer they're in a game, and there's fuck all Irish characters. I've done my Henry touchdown spiel on stream before, so I will not repeat it. They could retcon Cammy. Oh, Cammy is as British as the Queen is 9 foot tall. What about that guy from Punch Out? He's pretty cool. I like him. They ruined Henry. They really did. Serious Bichon, I missed your recommendation, but if you want to send it to me, I think we have each other on Discord, right? Okay. Sometimes I get sometimes after releasing a video, I get a pile of messages, and I appreciate it, but it's also scary. You know, this is the moments immediately following a video are like always kind of spooky, you know, because you just don't know how people are gonna react, and you don't know what kind of sentiment people will have, and even if it's like really positive, it's still like very overstimulating in a way that like I don't feel comfortable with sometimes, because like I've said this so many times on here, but like, you know, my favorite thing, my fucking favorite thing about my job is just making shit that I think is fun. Like, you know, is just kind of is having a good time writing my scripts and editing the videos together, and then you drop the right piece of music on it, and then the whole thing just fucking comes together, and it feels so good. I genuinely kind of hate having to upload my shit to the internet, and I know that's just kind of how it works, and I know that's how I have everything I have, because, you know, the internet following leads to you guys, and you guys rule, and, you know, it's awesome. But I think I've been doing this for 10 years, nearly 10 years now, and I've kind of viewed like having, I've kind of like now I kind of view having a following sort of with apathy, like just kind of like, you know, people be like, oh, what's it like to have, you know, like 1 point fucking whatever, however many subscribers, and I'm kind of like, it's all right, it's fine. It's definitely like, it has its advantages, like especially just how many fucking, you know, people support me and support the channel. I know I do really, really well off YouTube in a way I never ever would have done otherwise, and like it's definitely not a lack of appreciation about that. But I think it's just like it's seeing yourself just filtered through like 1,000 different perspectives, and it's seeing so many people develop these individual ideas of who you are and why you do the things you do. That can really start to weigh on you if you let it, you know. And like the problem is like, the problem isn't people being negative. I think, like, I know there's people out there who like don't like me and stuff, but I think for the most part I'm like a pretty well received YouTuber. I think like the vast majority of my audience is pretty into what I do, and like I've, you know, not that I haven't had drama or weird shit happen over the years, I have, but I think compared to other stuff, it's all pretty, like, it was all stuff where like, oh, something blew up for a couple of days and then kind of, you know, blew over, or like just stuff that in the grand scheme of things didn't seem like that big a deal. I guess I've never like hurt anyone, you know, that kind of way. But the thing is, like, even the good comments get overwhelming. You know, like, even the good comments, the positive comments get kind of, they can kind of flood you a little bit, you know? And I think what happens a lot of YouTubers, right? I think to be a YouTuber, you need a couple of different things. And I think you have to be like a little bit of an introvert. Not totally. Like, I think extroverts can be YouTuber as well, but I think it's a very introvert thing to do, to make a video about something you're interested in and then post it to the internet. I think you have to have a certain amount of empathy, but with that, I think you also have to be kind of manipulative in a way. Like, I think you have to know how to make people feel things. And like, what I would say about my videos is they definitely make people feel things. You know, I don't get a lot of mild opinions on what I do. And I'm not saying that thing is negative, but I'm saying whatever it is about my content, people like to have opinions on it. Or I'm not saying it's positive or negative. I'm just saying people generally come away from my videos with like strong opinions on what I do or what I talk about or how I do it. Magnum Weight on the super chat, thoughts on a new Naked Gun? Liam Neeson is a good choice. Remember him doing a good job in his cameo in Gary Wills as the straight man. Okay, we're gonna come back to that. That's crazy. KingCat888, thank you for the subscription. I think what happens, what I was saying, I think what happens to a lot of YouTubers is like, I also think like when you have that kind of empathetic introvert who's like, you know, very in tune with kind of people's emotions and stuff, or very in tune with like how to make people feel a certain thing, a lot of the times it's people who are a little antisocial. You know, it's a lot of times who people who find interactions with people intense, and so they're comfortable making YouTube videos. You know, they're comfortable doing all this indirect communication with people. And then what happens when those people blow up is that they become completely addicted to the online dopamine and the praise from other people, you know? And my God, I have never received so much pure praise as my first like year, 2 years on YouTube. Because first of all, a lot of people liked what I was doing, you know? But it wasn't just that. There was a lot of people who like saw me as like the underdog. You know, just this little YouTuber with 10,000, 20,000 subscribers, like who just dropped these videos. And I think, you know, just going by the comments back then, people felt like they were weird and they were different and they were doing something that was a bit different to what YouTube and anime YouTubers were at the time. And fucking hell, like I remember like just people like were so like, holy shit, you know, look at this thing. And I remember on my first video people telling me like, oh my God, you're gonna be so big, like you're gonna blow the fuck up. And I didn't believe that. I didn't believe that at all. I never ever, like, genuinely, this is not being modest, I never ever believed that anything was going to come of this ever until the point I didn't even turn AdSense on for the first year. You know, that's how much I didn't believe this stuff was going to happen. And I think it's easy to get addicted to that, you know, especially like me, like back then, especially I was coming out of a really bad situation, personally, professionally, a bunch of shit. And I was really insecure, really, really insecure. And I was always having doubts about, like, you know, my relationships and if, you know, my friends actually liked me and just, you know, all this fucking shit. And what YouTube was like this way to fill all those holes. And all this, like, love and adoration from like, you know, the people who had started watching my videos, and like all these people who like really began to like champion me and be like, this is the person, you know, I want this person to blow up. And I'd be at like parties, you know, I'd be at parties and I'd have my phone out and I'd just be scrolling like my comments, not interacting with anyone around me. I'd just be scrolling my comments and Twitter and like watching videos blow up. And I remember I actually went to a party the night I released The Fall of Bleach. And I remember my friends being like, it's at 10,000 views, it's at 20,000 views. It was like, you know, it was this weird thing. And that's when Sudden Mango, she was there that night, Rebecca. She was like, you know, you're gonna get famous on YouTube, like you're gonna have like 300,000 followers or something like that. And I remember just thinking, man, Rebecca really doesn't understand how the internet works. That is never ever going to happen. But I remember that night, like specifically because like it was getting really hard to stop looking at that stuff. And I remember like I would be at I'd be like out with mates or whatever, and like whatever conversation was happening, it wasn't stimulating me in the same way that like it wasn't stimulating me the same way on as you know, me opening my phone and seeing like dozens of people like praising me or like, you know, being nice about my work, you know, like human interaction was genuinely less stimulating than the attention I was getting online, because you know it couldn't be. A conversation with one person or two people or three people couldn't match this fucking overwhelming level of dopamine. Magnum Wait, thank you for the super chat. And now you're recognizing strip clubs. Well, I mean, kinda. And but like it started to become a problem because I started to believe my own hype. You know, I started to believe that I really was this big YouTuber, you know, and I started expecting that praise. And when I started expecting that praise is around the time I hit maybe 80 or 90,000 subscribers on YouTube. And 80 or 90,000 subscribers is this weird... It's this weird threshold on YouTube, because that is the point when people stop viewing you as the little guy. That's the point where people start viewing you as like the institution. And all of a sudden, I found that immediately, like, I became the topic of debate. I became like this thing that was like regularly talked about. And I think there was a flashpoint with that. And it was from the channel Digibro. That was the name of the channel. Digibro now goes by Trixie, the Golden Witch, and has that like a she's like transitioned and everything. But just say Digibro. I'm not calling them that. I'm just saying that was the name of their channel. But she released a video called just shit talking other anime YouTubers for 19 straight minutes. Oh god, I've destroyed my career. Something like that, you know? And in the anime community at the time, that video was like, I guess what you'd call like a content nuke. It was Trixie just going down the list of every single prominent anime YouTuber and just tearing them apart. And I think like it came from a place of frustration. And later, like I remember watching a video from Trixie later and her saying that this is the only way she knew to kind of reach out to people and like to kind of get to know people in a weird way. But so like it wasn't, I don't think it was like meant to be aggressive, but it was very aggressive. And like, you know, she definitely like talk shit about a lot of YouTubers. And I was just kind of sitting there with my arms crossed and I was like waiting for my turn. I was waiting for like Trixie to just like rip me apart. And she doesn't do that. Right at the end of the video, she's like, oh, and actually, you know who's fucking great? Super Eye Patch Wolf. And it was really flattering. You know, it was very like, I was really surprised because I to this day, I still have it. Whenever there's a YouTuber who I think makes good content, I always feel like, I bet this person thinks I fucking suck. You know, I'm like, because they're actually good at this and I still have imposter syndrome. You know, at one point, whatever many million subscribers, I still have imposter syndrome. And like, I was really taken aback by that. But I think at the time, it also like, and I don't think Trixie meant it like this, but what that did then is that really like painted a target on my back. You know, it really led to this scenario where the counterculture of anime YouTube became, I think, to kind of like think I suck. to like be like Eye Patch Wolf is massively overrated and all this kind of stuff. And thing is, like, now I think I can kind of handle that a lot better, because I get there's just a lot of people who watch my shit and there's like 1,000 different ways it's viewed. I think back then, though, that came at a really like bad intersection where I still had a lot of the ego from that early time, and then all of a sudden there was this kind of wave of smaller creators who fucking just really did not like what I was doing, and just would kind of, talk shit on Twitter all day, and like would kind of like just kind of make it out like it was kind of pathetic that I was popular. And that was hard. It became hard coming to terms with the fact that there was just people who, like, I don't think they really hated me, but they hated this idea of me, and they hated it very intensely, and they hated it like, they hated it with an intensity I just never hated anything, and that was that was hard, and it was strange to see. I think nowadays, like, my perspective of it has kind of changed. Now it's kind of like, because there's a kind of narrative that like went around, and I think it was like this idea that anime YouTube needs to be better. Like, we all need to do better. Remember, like, there was I think it was called the Critique of Super Eye Patch Wolf's video by Craftsdwarf, I think he's called. And the whole idea of this video was kind of like that, like, it was kind of pointing out like all the kind of flaws in my video, and it was kind of pointing out like how weak my research was and all this kind of stuff, and how like I never cited sources and stuff. And I think what hurt about that video was he was kind of right. Like, there was parts of my video that were very strong. Like, they were good at controlling people's emotions. There was strong narratives. But the research and all that kind of stuff, like, there was problems there. And I was kind of having to come to terms with that stuff. And, like, well, like, that video was, like, a really unpleasant experience, because, like, someone talking shit about you for an hour and, like, 100,000 people watching it, that... I don't think people, like, if you've never experienced something like that, you don't know how fucking weird that is. Like, it wasn't like a perfect video or anything. I think like Craftsdwarf actually kind of, he fell into a lot of the errors he was pointing out in me in that video, and like but I mean, like, I understand where he was coming from as well. I actually ended up meeting him once, and he, like, it was actually really nice, because like we just kind of hung out at a con for a little bit, and then like, it was like, man, this is okay. Like, we don't need to hate each other or anything. And that was kind of chill. He unfollowed me then one day, and I think it was after the second Bleach video, and I thought that was like a bit silly, but I mean, it's kind of, it is what it is. If that's kind of what he needs to do, that's, I accept it. But so it kind of got to this point, and like, I think where I eventually reached with that stuff is like, for me, I think like, if you want YouTube to improve, and if you want to see a better YouTube, you can call people out and you can do shit like that. But ultimately, if you really, really want YouTube to be better, the only fucking thing you can do is make better videos. The only thing you can do is make shit where you're like, you can point to it and be like, this is the kind of shit I want to make. This is the kind of video I want to exist on YouTube. I want to raise the bar to this standard. You can't ignore the shit you don't want to do. If you're bad at editing, you have to get better at editing. If you're bad at pacing and structure and all this shit, all that stuff has to be top tier, because that is the only way you are going to keep an audience engaged long enough for them to actually accept your message. And if you're bad at that stuff, it doesn't matter how good the internal message of your video is. You have to you have to be able to engage an audience on a wider sphere if you really want YouTube to change. That's kind of where I ultimately landed on a lot of this stuff. But I think then, like, for as tough as that period was, and this was a lesson it took me way too long to make, it made me realize that, like, I did just have to completely separate, like, my ego from YouTube. Like, I had to completely divorce this idea that I was the person I presented on YouTube. And, like, now, like, Super Eye Patch Wolf, that's like a character. You know, that's like a person. And, like, don't get me wrong, everything in those videos are my own thoughts and feelings, but they're my own thoughts and feelings pushed through a rigorous scripting process, contorted and compressed in an even more rigorous editing process, and those processes released over and over and over and over until I can refine all these pieces of myself down into this digestible hour and a half or 2 hour or 2.5 hour video that's consumable and enjoyable. And at that point, there was a huge fucking difference between me and that video. You know what I mean? Like, those aren't the same thing. And I think it was really hard, but, like, learning to separate, like, if someone hates my videos, they don't hate me because, like, they don't know me. Like, they can't know me. Like, someone can't exist in a YouTube video. And, like, this is kind of something that I think a lot of people don't understand about YouTube. There's always this idea of authenticity. Who is real, who is not, who's being themselves, who is not. And to me, the moment you turn a camera on and the moment you start talking to your audience, you're not a real person at that point. You're making something. You know, like, right now, I'm talking to you guys, and I am genuinely trying to be as, like, transparent and honest as I can possibly be with you. Like, this is as, like, honest as I am capable of being, but you gotta understand, like, you're not viewing me in, like, my everyday life. You're not viewing me talking to my wife or my friends or anything. There's some element of this that's still a performance. You know, like, I have these big fucking lights to make me look pleasant and presentable, you know? I am talking about a lot of stuff, but, like, there's stuff I won't talk about. Like, you know, there's stuff about my history or my past that I'm just never going to talk about online. And you guys are never going to have those pieces of me because I've just decided that they don't belong online, you know? And so the moment you turn on a camera and the moment you start interacting in front of it, you're already selecting the pieces of yourself you want to show. And you're already self-editing. And I think some people are really, really good at making you feel like they are being 100% their authentic selves all the time. But, you know, I would say the longer a YouTuber goes, the more impossible it is for them to do that. The more they really strive to fulfill this idea of themselves, this expectation of themselves that's created between them and their audience. And I've been doing this for 10 years. You know, I've been doing this for 10 years, and, like, not only do I perform, like, the version of myself that existed before YouTube is gone. Like, they don't exist anymore. Like, you know, it's that thing where, what is it, that, like, it's like 99.999% of the atoms in your body cycle out every 7 years. So you're basically being ship of Theseus the entire time you exist. It's like, it's like I physically, emotionally, mentally, everything you can imagine, this version of me only exists because of YouTube and because my life took the path it did. And I think I'm actually, like, really grateful that I kind of went through that kind of ego death and that, like, separation of, like, I am not my YouTube persona. Because when you see YouTubers getting into weird fucking scenarios and like fucking around with fans and just getting into situations where what I think they shouldn't, I think all you're really viewing is like insecure people whose doubts about themselves are being filled in by their audience and them never learning that that's a bad thing. You know? I always remember this one time that I was at a con, and I'd been doing YouTube a couple of years at this point, and this girl came up to me and she was really excited to meet me. And I remember just chatting away to her, and she was really nice, like she was cool, you know? But at some point I remember looking into her eyes, and her eyes were like fully dilated. Like, and just she had the most blissful expression on her face just listening to every tiny word I was saying. And I had this sensation that's like, I feel like this person is looking past me and into something greater. And that greater thing was this idea of me that she had built up. And that was a fucking scary moment. You know, that was like a scary realization that people could view you like that, you know? And like I've had people like ask to hug me, and then like I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll give you a hug, and I give them a hug and they start crying, you know? And it's like you realize that it's like you are so much more than you could ever conceive in the eyes of some people. And the thing I kind of took away from that experience is I would never want to believe I am whatever that girl is seeing. I'd never ever want to believe that, because to me, all I am is like I'm just a person, and I just like making videos. You know, that like someone asked me on the Discord earlier, like what my proudest achievement on YouTube is. And my proudest achievement, and I didn't even have to think about it, my proudest achievement is making things with my friends that I am proud of. That's it. That's what I like. I loved streaming with Brian so much on Wednesday. God damn, it felt so good to stream with that motherfucker again. I love Versus Wolves. I love being able to stream with Wooly. I love people being able to experience our friendship like that. You know, I loved making the wrestling video. For all the misery it brought me, I loved making it. And I don't mean I loved having it on the internet and people like it. I mean I loved slotting that fucking thing together. And I love thinking about how I would do it better if I could do it again. You know, I've been writing the Void Stranger video, and, you know, the challenge of how the fuck do you talk about that game has been some of the purest bliss I have experienced in a while. You know, and I'm so happy making it, and I dread the day I have to upload it, you know? But I'm gonna, because that's how I make my living. And I understand that there's a lot of good that comes from uploading it as well. I understand that, like, you know, there's a lot of people who take comfort in my videos, but that's all I am. Like, that's all I can provide is comfort. You know, I don't think my videos save anyone. I don't think my videos make a serious difference in anyone's lives. And I know some people say they do, but what I would say to that is, no. You made a difference in your life in a time that was difficult. My videos just gave you a little comfort in doing that. And I think that's important. You know, I think that's a big deal as well. I think providing people a little bit of relief in what has been what is often a cruel and horrifying reality that's my purpose. Like that's why I'm here. That's what I am here to do. And yeah, I think you provide some kick-ass shirts too, to be honest. Thank you, Sleepy Sarah. I concur. But Your videos marginally adjusted my way of talking about art, and I think that is beautiful. Tim and Space, thank you. That's fucking awesome. Like that's great to hear as well. Like if the videos like change the way you look at art a little bit, that's really cool. But I guess what I'm saying is like I'm really not trying to change the world with my videos. I think at this point I'm happy to provide people with a little entertainment and a little comfort, and if I'm able to make a living off that, even better. So yeah, being a YouTuber is really weird. It's really, really weird, and it has brought me on a crazy emotional journey. But I'm glad I did it. And I'm glad after doing this shit for 10 years, I have still clung on to some amount of relevancy, because I know that is nearly impossible. I know there are so few YouTubers who achieve that, and I really think it's good fortune and little else that I was able to. Is he ever gonna read this? Read what, Josh Smith? You introduced me to a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, and that's the other part. You can introduce people to cool shit. You can point people towards media and art that is really going to make them like an actual meaningful difference in their lives. And that's another thing. Like that's why I want to, like, part of me with the Void Stranger video is I just want to put eyes on Void Stranger. And honestly, most of it's selfish. I want System Erasure to sell more copies of their games so that they can make more games comfortably and efficiently. I want the people who made Void Stranger to have good lives because they made something I care about. And I want more of their games to exist, and I want their games to be ingested into what people consider video games. And so a video like that has that purpose. The greatest thing you ever did was make Wooly take my money on Patreon finally. Thank you, Rendale. I appreciate it. Do you like your viewers calling you John, or would you prefer Wolf or something else? I really don't care. Nook's Bunny, it doesn't bother me at all what people call me. You should check out their other games, Zero Ranger. Alarm Clock Fever, buddy. You don't know how deep in this hole I am. Would you ever get a job in TV? Jesus, I hope not. I think, okay, this is the other thing. I think I am entirely too dysfunctional to have like a boss anymore. I think I always remember that I had been going out with my now wife Michelle, who I've been with for 20 years. I was going out with her 3 months, and she was like, "Yeah, but you're gonna run your own business at some point." And I was like, "Really?" And I was like, "What makes you say that?" And she's like, "Oh, you'll never be able to work for other people." And she was kind of right, She was kind of right. The Nintendo Direct got John and the Mr. Wolf. Okay, sure thing. I think that's what ContraPoints calls me sometimes when she talks about me in her Patreon videos. BJW. You gonna watch the Minecraft movie? I hear it's Lynchian. Isn't Wooly your boss, motherfucker? Hi, glad to watch the stream. This is kind of irrelevant to the topic, but what would you say to people who don't seem to get why AI creatives like artists, musicians, and think it's the best thing ever? Too many people in my life think that it makes me sad. Okay, this is an interesting topic, right? The AI art discussion. So, I want you guys to take everything I just said about fame and content creation and success and making things, and notice how I repeatedly said my favorite thing is the process. My favorite thing is the creation of something new. My favorite thing is figuring out a creative problem and how it works, you know? What AI does is it completely skips all that and leaves only the results, leaves only the exact thing that I've said this entire time you need to be so careful of, that will just flood your life, that will just make you fucking feel irrelevant and weird and isolate you from other people and get you into a place where you need more and more and more, to the point that you're just consuming other humans. You're just using them and discarding them and all that shit. That's too far. That's not quite what's happening with AI art, but why would I ever care about a piece of art that eliminates the process? That's my question. Like, when I look at a piece of art, I see the journey of the person who made it. You know, I see everything that they have sacrificed and learned and groaned around to get there. Watch my Berserk video. Look at what Kentaro Miura put into his work. Look, he's a man who deposited his life into his work, and that's kind of horrifying. But you can see it. Like, you can see it in every page. You can see it in every fucking pen stroke, every piece of dialogue, everything those characters are. You can see his journey. And it's a fucking grotesque insult into art to just be like, hey, do you want to fucking look like a Ghibli character? And you hit a button and you just erase all that and make this ghoulish impersonation of it. On a conceptual level alone, that's fucking grotesque. And then you factor into it how this is going to take jobs away from artists. You factor into it how financially it's going to hurt people. It's not like the technology behind it isn't impressive, but like, what are we doing? Like, who are we benefiting? Whose life is this technology improving? And the answer is no one. You know, because what's it going to be used for? It's going to be used by corporations to cut out artists. It's going to be used by corporations to make our artists obsolete. I could not think of a more horrific outcome to art, right? Magnum Wait, thank you for the $5 super chat. Not gonna lie, after seeing the Cody Rhodes Roman video, I've been kind of mulling over making a similar video on Bryan Danielson's Swerve match. Too bad I don't have a PC. Magnum Wait, you'll get there. My Miss says AI artists are just commissioners, not artists. Also, here's $5 for the wrestling video. I think one of the best analogies I've ever heard about it is calling yourself an artist because you use AI is like calling yourself a chef because you ask for your steak rare. You know, that's it. But you know, in terms of, okay, so like this is another thing I can do, right? One of the reasons I love Eye Patch Wolves, and one of the reasons I so thoroughly believe in what Eye Patch Wolves is because I get to work with artists and I get to pay artists, you know? Like, not to get too much into shit, but like multiple times, and I have like a minimum payment threshold that I will pay any artist who works on Eye Patch Wolves. There's a minimum amount that I will pay every artist. And multiple times, artists will quote me something and I'll be like, I can't actually pay you that because that is below the minimum standard rate for Eye Patch Wolves. And sometimes that leads to their quote like quadrupling or like, you know, tripling or whatever. And I'm happy to do that because I'm happy to pay talented artists, you know? I don't know if you guys saw, no, actually, I don't want to say which t-shirt because I genuinely don't want to, I don't think it's fair for me to talk about like an artist's behind the scenes shit, but we had a t-shirt on the previous run and like the t-shirt's a fucking incredible t-shirt and the artist quoted me so low and I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, no. And I asked them, please don't ever quote anyone this low yourself, you know? Now, that's not to say that we meet every commission we get. Occasionally on Eye Patch Wolves, like, I'll approach an artist, and like, you know, this artist is just turns out like at the top of their field, and they're working with like Nike and Adidas or whatever, and so they'll quote me a payments that like I just can't meet. Like I had an artist quote me $4,000 for a piece once, and no shade at all to that artist. Get fucking paid, buddy. It just wasn't like that wasn't a commission that I could hit with, you know, with the money we make from Eye Patch Wolves. But I still think fair play to that person, you know. But then, like, you know, I'm also working on 2 other projects that are currently undisclosed. And one of those projects, I am taking, like, a massive amount of my own money and just spreading it among a pool of artists because I want them to get paid. I want them to see benefit from it. And then the other is just, like, we are hiring an artist that I'm fucking so psyched to work with and making sure they get paid and getting sure they get paid fair, you know? So, like, when I talk about AI art and the importance of like artists getting paid and the importance of artists being able to live, like I hope it's clear that's a walk I walk and not something I just say. Like that's something I really fucking believe in. Like this is, and I hate it. It's like the most cynical response. There's like all these people being like, there's all these people who say like, oh, when's the last time you commissioned an artist? And for me, that answer is like, I'm commissioning one right fucking now, you know. So yeah, that's it. More like asking for ketchup on your steak. The stalk moth. That's a really good point. Eye Patch Wolves has literally helped foster my skills and as a digital artist, giving myself challenges to meet with thematic limits to test them. Ampersand, thank you so much. Yeah, like, and it's tricky because like right now, I actually did run into trouble with this a while ago. This was for, I wanted to do a competition, and I wanted to do a fake video games competition, and I was like, okay, here's the theme, and I gave people a theme for a fake video game, and I said, go nuts, guys. And the winner gets like $700, and like there was definitely people like excited about it, but I had actually a couple of artists be like, I don't know about this dude. And in fairness, like 99% of the people who like were kind of calling me out on this were doing so in like the chillest, most respectful way. They were like, listen dude, I think you should read this article. And it turns out what they were talking about is spec work. And the idea of spec work is basically a company says, hey, we're having a contest to design our new logo. The winner gets like X amount of money. And the problem with spec work is that what happens then is a bunch of artists go off and does work, and they don't know that they're going to be paid for it. You know, and when people pointed out that, I was like, oh, fuck. This is exactly like what I'm doing. And it's not exactly, but it's way too similar. And so I immediately shut down the competition. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. This is not what I'm about. And I'm actually going to try, I'm going to put out a call next week to just be like, you know, ask artists, is there a way we can do basically a fake video game jam and have it be legitimate, have it be something cool and interesting? And I actually had some artists saying the way that you do that is there's no prize. People just can compete for the joy of competing and nothing else. I feel weird about that as well, because I want artists to get paid, you know, like that doesn't sit right with me either. So I still need to think about that. Have you tried paying them an exposure? Flare versus Rain. Thank you for the super chat. Have you heard of Wrestle by Hot Dad? It's a synth rock comedy album based in 2017. WWE. It's awesome. Think you would love it. No, I have not. That's so interesting. Thank you. Pled has super chatted. Great video. Same day as Silk Song and DT. You must have planned that. Pay them in Eye Patch Wolves merch. That feels shitty as well. I want people to be able to eat off whatever they get paid. Everyone who makes something gets merch. I don't know if that's gonna cut it. oh my god, I want a fake video game jam. And look, yeah, I know I want it too, and we're gonna try. We're gonna try and do something because I just think it'd be so fucking cool. But I need to do it in a way that is fair to artists. And like if I need to put like significant money into it, like if I need to put a couple of grand into it, I will. I genuinely will. I have no problem doing that. But how do I do that in a way that's fair? Like how do I do that in a way that ensure people don't feel their time is getting wasted? And I know VadiVidya does it. And I maybe need to track down VadiVidya and talk to him about it. But yeah, we'll see. I just want to talk about a game jam hat. I think it's fine as long as there's no prize that's expectation in, and that people doing the game jam are aware of that. Yeah, it's just that idea seems counterintuitive to me at first, but I do understand that like part of the problem with spec work is the ambiguous expectation, and part of the problem is like, and by eliminating a prize, you basically just make it something that people can do because they want to. But I still need to think about it. I still really need to think about it. Hey, John, thanks for being Irish and streaming in hours that are accessible for European viewers. Love the newest reworked video. Thank you, Rafal. I appreciate that. Don't use the art after. But then... But like the whole point of the game jam is I literally want to be like, look at this fucking cool ass fake video game and look at this amazing artist that made it, you know? So that would kind of defeat the purpose a little bit. Sounds like what you want to make is like a zine. Yeah, but I would also want to put it in like a video, you know? Oh, shit. Nonsensed. Thanks to your fake video games video, I've managed to start a small group with my friends where we make fake video games. Nonsense, please send me your fake video games. I really want to see more fake video games. And I, like, spoiler, I want to do another fake video games. You can email them to regulareyepatchwolf@gmail.com. Just use subject line fake video games. And anyone who happens to be watching, if you have made a fake video game or are making fake video games, for the love of God, send them to me. Okay? That is if like you want me to like show them off or whatever. If not, don't worry about it. But I love fake video games, and I want to be a part of making fake video games like more of a thing. So please send me your shit. Hey, is this the stream? This is the stream. CB96, thank you for the super chat. You inspired my crummy channel. It's called Neo Dream. Neo Dream, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. What if you're making a real video game? Cinnamon Pumpkin, I mean, you can still send that to me. I benefit to not have a prize if the artist to be able to put appropriate amount of time and effort just for the fun work. That, yeah, I'm thinking about it. Maybe you could partner up with another platform and the award be like access to that platform. Like, for example, a platform that offers video game courses. Maybe. You see, like, I'm skeptical to get into anything that's not actually paying people, you know? Lizzie B, I make fake video games, but only because I don't have the ability to make them real. I mean, that's what's fucking awesome about them, though, you know? That's so cool. Lizzie B, please send me your shit. Please do. You should only let in, like, 10 artists and pay them all. So I could do something like that, alright, but then, like, the problem is you want to pay them all fairly. Like, you want to... And, like, it's not an insubstantial amount of work to make a fake video game. And so, you know, I'd want to pay them each well, and then that starts getting into, like, just being very, very expensive, like, just to a point where, you know, I do not have infinite resources, but yeah. Um, I think any prize runs the issue of some people getting rewarded for their work and others not. Yeah, you see, that's the problem. Um, maybe like a fake video game magazine that's fake previews. Pay a minimum amount to everyone who submits that meets a certain criteria, and then the winner gets a prize. See, the problem there is, even though you've worded it very thoughtfully, and like I kind of hit that point myself as well, that's also a competition. You know, like what you've just said is a competition, so it's really fucking tricky. Maybe do a merch line, something else fans can pay for. No. If we get to the point that I'm actually profiting off stuff, any ambiguity disappears and people have to get paid. But anyway, look, I'm going to put a call out about this on Blue Sky next week, so if people want to continue the discussion there, because I feel like we could kind of just keep going around about it. Why not do it for charity? iPatchWolf Fake Direct is really good. That is a fucking stellar idea. A fake iPatchWolves Direct. I should do a fake Direct and I should dub myself talking. Whoever said that, fucking killer idea. Let me try and credit you. Because I'm bored, your video inspired me to do art of a fake VN and a fake Zelda like last memory. You could do a weekly showcase on your social media. Because I'm bored, please send it on. Please send it on. Like, I will showcase people's fake video games on stream. I would kill to do a stream where people just send me fake video games and we talk about them. I think that would be so sick. If I get enough fake video games, I'll do that. I would do the shit out of that. Just sub for my first time on the channel. Thanks to you, you've done for me. I know you've said you're not trying to change the world, but your video did somewhat change something. Helped me. Villains in wrestling helped me at the time girlfriend understand wrestling, which is one of the main hobbies interests. That girlfriend later became my wife last year, and we've been having a baby girl in May. The vid made wrestling more digestible and helped her understand the basic ideas of heels and faces. Ricky Morlow, listen, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. And look, all I ask for in return, the only thing I'll request of you, if the video had that big an impact on your life, is that you call the little girl Super iPatchWolf. That's all I'm asking. That's the only thing I'm going to request. So yeah, that's it. Just call her Super iPatchWolf. That's her name now. And you guys have my blessing to do whatever else you want with the child. But that's my one condition. Okay? I think it's reasonable. I think it's reasonable. Coldfire047, thank you for the subscription. Buy the girl a big jacket. Okay. That's everything that's going on inside me, chat. You know what? Fuck it. Can I tell you guys something? You guys want to know something that might be happening in my world right now? I might have to move next week's stream from Friday to Thursday. And that might be because, and this is not definite, but me and Michelle are thinking about adopting a little dog. And we're not sure but we've been in contact with the service and we've picked out a little dude, and it's it's not for certain, and she's a rescue, and she was left abandoned and starving, and like she nearly died, and I think she's gonna, she's gonna take a little love, and she's gonna take a little getting used to, but also as well, like we just don't know. We don't know if it's gonna work, but I think I might be getting a little dog, and I really want to make it work with her, and I really want to give her like a safe and happy home. I think rescuing a dog is like a really nice thing to do, and I just want to do it. I know it's weird, but I feel like the world is so fucking grim sometimes. I've really started being like, okay, what tiny positive changes can I make? And we came across this little fucker. Michelle brought her to me, and I was like, oh fuck. And so yeah, that's what might be happening. Name her Moonless. I mean, I'm open for names. Whatever you guys got. The dog needs an eye patch. If the dog is comfortable with an eye patch, I will occasionally put an eye patch on her, but not before. What breed? She's a little whippet. Kanzako, yeah, all three of my dogs have been rescues. I love providing a home for a little fella with an unfortunate life. Yeah. Kathy. Lady is a nice name. Geese Howard. But I don't know. We'll see. It's not for definite, and I always feel like with stuff like this, you can never be sure until like you're sure, you know. Okay. Guys, maybe we should finally play a game. I ain't the final yapper. I'm the final gamer. But the question is, what do we play? I wanted to play Silent Hill Homecoming, and it seems like that's not going to work out. So, I'm open to suggestions, or we can play more Look Outside. I also have Hitman downloaded here, but I think I maybe want to play a little bit of that game. Well, yeah, what do you guys think? Ori, thank you for the $20 super, £20 super chat. Holy shit. Thank you, my friend. That's so generous. Your video inspired me to make fake video games. It's early days and I want to make them real at some point, but any excuse to create something is awesome, so thank you for that. Ori, send them on. Send those fuckers on. Look outside, please. Alyssa, Minecraft, look outside. I think the people want to see more look outside. Okay, guys, I'm going to just grab a drink of water. I'll be back in a couple of seconds and we'll play some look outside. And I'm back. I'm eating what I call the prison meal. I have some bread and water. Can't beat it. You know, I've gotten really into, chat. Just really good bread. Like, nothing on it. Nothing on it. Just a fucking quality ciabatta. It's delicious. It's a human tea kettle. So I go in Cross Korea right now on old train rail. And it weirdly feels like living in one of those fake games. Implied mechanics everywhere. 10 to 10 progression. Environmental storytelling. You know, I did that once. I cycled across France. And it was cool. It was really cool. It was weird. Being a teenager was so weird. So many weird stories I have from being a teenager, and like you guys have heard a lot of them. But sometimes one will like come to me and I'll be like, oh, I don't know about that one. I think maybe some of you who have read the Skins review I did in the review hole will know what I'm talking about. Howdy, John. 3:30 here in Australia. I'm so sorry. Howdy, John. It's the howdy that got me. Howdy, John. 3:30 a.m. here in Australia, and I can't sleep, so I figured I'd catch a stream. Also, really good bread does fucking rule. Used to bake our own. Oh, right on, Locke. That's awesome. You know, vampire therapy because I'm bored. Oh, interesting. You know what? I've actually gotten really into. Right? You want to know what my little treat is at the moment? Is to I go and I get flat white coffee, and I get a croissant, really nicely baked croissant. No toppings, no butter, no like cream or just anything like that. I get the croissant, I dip it into the foam of the flat white, just sit there on the park bench eating it. Fucking delicious. You had a Skins review. Sorry, not a Skins review, a Euphoria review. Whoa, what the fuck? So this is Look Outside. I think you guys saw me, some of you guys were probably here for the stream we did of it last week. Super cool indie game. I mean this with all the respect in the world. This is not me shit-talking this game. It's kind of like Fear and Hunger, but less punishing. I want to say Fear and Hunger for babies, but that is genuinely shit way of putting it. Let me just change the Twitch title. Okay, so for people who may have missed this last week, Look Outside is this really kind of fascinating game where you're basically trapped in an apartment block and trying to figure out what is happening. And all we basically do is every day we go out and we go out and we explore the apartment and we experience all the fucked up things that happen there. And it's really cool. It's a really, really cool game. It has turn-based combat, has crafting elements, it has all this kind of stuff. And the apartment building is getting worse and more messed up the longer we spend here. So let's see, what items do we have? Oh, we have a bunch of stuff. How's the audio levels? Maybe feel like it's a bit loud. Magnum Wait, thank you for the super chat. See, it reminds me of the NES game Sweet Home. Yeah, absolutely. This game deserves eyes, hell yeah. Yeah, I was super, super impressed by it. I will definitely, I'd say I will very likely give it a push in a favorite things video or something. So it's like Silent Hill The Room. It is a little bit, but we can actually go outside. And so there's a bunch of like monsters here. Now, let me think. What were we trying to do? Shit, I didn't listen. I know we were exploring the first floor. We had explored all this. Don't know what's in there. It seems stuck. You can't open it. Okay. Reminds me of Lone Survivor. Very similar vibe to Lone Survivor, alright. Whoa, okay, it's him. It's him. It's No Face. Okay. We've just saved, so let's try out this encounter. It's this thing again. You wonder if it's following you. Are you following me? The creature seems excited. For some reason, you feel especially vulnerable as it stares at you. Were those teeth beneath its mask? Its steady gaze is fixed on you. Do you need help? It doesn't need help. Are you shy? Its steady gaze is fixed on you. Are you lost? Its steady gaze fixed on you. Goodbye. Okay. What did this guy want again? Right now we're gathering data. You know, the other night I had the strangest dream. Normally I take stock in hokum, but it's surely a sign. In my dream there was a shimmering liquid pouring from a dark tube. It poured out and splashed on the floor, falling through the cracks. I remember feeling like I had scooped up my liquid to hold it and carry it with me, but nothing worked. It slipped through my fingers. I just know it means something. If you go find anything, show Jasper on the ground floor. Okay. Now, if I remember right, there was a room here that we were going to go into. And I believe the way we got to the first floor was through here. We don't want to deal with him. Oh, fuck! Okay. Okay, how many items we got? So basically, we picked up a shotgun, and it was obviously very, very powerful. But I don't know that I want to use it all on this guy. In fact, But I don't think we have another weapon equipped right now. Let's try it. Okay, hits pretty hard, but I think another point-blank shot should do it. Oh god, he came close. Okay, at least we won't have to deal with him again. And this is a lady in a tube. Ah, it's you again. Okay, nothing new we can do with her. So I think she's a lady who has a enigma of Amigara falsed herself. If you get what I'm saying. Okay, last time we were here, there was a really fucked up monster. Oh yeah, that's a whole thing. A wedding picture. Looks like we've already been in here. This synth sounds like it came out of an 80s Aussie song. I know, it's fucking awesome, right? What is that? Oh, Jesus. That I... Okay, let's start off with an acid flask on the Rat King. Rat King, 44 damage. This thing's really strong. Really, really strong. I think we might need to escape. However, it's unable to escape. 42 damage and we're dead. Fuck. Okay. Let's avoid the Rat King. That's no good. Wasn't anything too stressful then? Be careful. Look out for the invisible man. Haha, I'm kidding, but really, bye, John. Okay, considering we have a lot of items, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to unequip the shotgun. Basically so that, like... Basically so that I can, like, giant rat skull. The misshapen skull of a monstrous rat. What does... Oh, cool. And basically, because I'm going to equip a melee weapon, and if we get into a tough fight, we can just use the items of... We can use items rather than wasting all our shotgun. So let me see. I don't think we can go down... You shot floor 2, apartment 24. And here's the no face again. This guy seems alright. I forgot that he did that. Goodbye. And is that on the... Where is that? It's on floor 2, apartment 24. I think this is the basement. It looks like you could insert a disc-shaped object here. I have nothing. Towards the ground floor. Looking at it makes your stomach turn, the head burst open like a pumpkin. There is a note in the body. Henderson, the landlord, is keeping his guns and ammo in the basement. I need to find some way to get his key. It must be in his apartment on the ground floor. Okay. I guess let's follow this lead to the shopkeeper, Eugene's shop on floor 2. Oh, cool. Hey, sorry for the clutter. I'm still setting up. Let me know if it's anything you like. I mean, this is kind of rad. Lucky tie. Resist status effects. The price is $50. Oh, and you can haggle. 16 shotgun shells. Let's haggle. You managed to haggle $20 off the price. Okay, we have plenty of weapons, I think. Yeah, we do. We don't have anything for our feet, though. Is he selling any shoes? This song is straight up jaunty. Shotgun shells. $240. Jesus. Oh, a shuriken. We only have $9. I think we actually spent all our money on stuff. Okay. Let's venture back down to the first floor and see what we can find. Oh, hey, it's you again. I think my conditions have been getting worse. Oh yeah, Gene. A lot worse. What's happening to you? I don't know. It's getting worse than I thought. Would you like to have a look? Yeah. Okay, don't freak out. It's not as bad as it looks, I swear. Oh, that's much worse. It's not great, Gene. It's not great. No, it's not. So yeah, this is why I can't leave here anymore. I'm sorry, that sucks. Thanks, I'm glad you didn't run away at least. About your transformation, what do you want to know? Are you in control? In control? Well, sort of. I don't feel like I'm losing any control of my body, except for the faces. I can see through their eyes. I feel like them like they're part of me, but I have very little control over them. What do you want to know? Is it getting worse? Yeah, I keep growing more of them. I was afraid I would get too heavy to move, but I started growing more legs too. I feel them salivating anytime I get close to someone, like they want to bite a chunk off you. You should keep a little distance. How did this begin? I was putting clothes on my balcony, clotheslines. I heard screams and I heard screams in the streets below. I just stood there slack-jawed, trying to see what everyone was screaming about. I had no idea I was exposing myself just by staying there. I must have been out there for 10 minutes or so. I started growing faces on my chest and back, and a few minutes later, I thought I was having a nightmare. I still kind of think I am. What do you want to know? Does it hurt? No, it doesn't hurt. Thank God. It just feels strange. Can I see it again? What? Is this a party trick? No, I'm not showing them again. They'll remain hidden forever if I can help it. About your transformation. Reaching the laundromat. Yeah, it might be difficult to reach the ground floor at the moment, huh? The ground floor doors are locked by one of those strange planet disc locks. I've seen those guys in robes carry those discs. Maybe one of them will know. Okay, that's good info. John, you can't ask this poor person to flash me again. It was for medical reasons!
That's right, boys. Mondo cool.
Hi Final Gamer, I've been catching up on the content and was wondering if you could tell the origins to Joho. Love the content, by the way.
The origins to Joho. I mean, I feel like I've told this story a couple of times on stream, But if people want, I can tell it again. Why are you hiding? I'm just shy, very sensitive to light, just like photo paper. Tell it again. Okay. So about... Oh, he looks nasty. Oh, there's a safe over there, though. I think we already got that safe. Fuck. Damn, missed the jump attack. He hits us for 27 damage. Let's try the jump attack again. Oh, nice! So about 15 years ago, I went to Japan. Inside you find $120 in cash and jade earrings. And, you know, it had been a long time dream of mine to go to Japan. Obviously, it is a place that I, you know, has been a big influence on me. It's like kind of anime, video games, everything. And I went with Michelle, who was my girlfriend at the time and is now my wife. And the trip. Oh, what the fuck is that? That's one of those eyeball lads. I'm not super keen to fight another one of them. Oh, that's the guy we killed last time. Damn it, he's alive again. So I'm over there for a couple of days, and I am just having a mind-blowing time. Like, just, I love it so much. I am so excited to be there. And the only problem... You are no longer smelly. Okay, this is new. The only problem is that, like, my face starts to hurt. Like, my jaw specifically is, like, getting sore, and I don't know why. Okay, we have a cleave weapon, and I bet that's going to be good against this thing. Not so much. Let's try... Yeah, that did it. And like my jaw is hurting, and like it's not too bad, but it's getting to the point where like I'm biting down on food, and I'm kind of like, ugh, like that's not pleasant. And after a couple of days, I kind of start to worry, like, shit, what is this, you know? So then one morning, I wake up, and I wake up next to Michelle, and I watch her little eyes open, and she just goes, "Oh," when she looks at me, and I go, "Oh no, really?" And she goes, "Yeah," and I go over to this mirror, and my jaw is like out to here. Like, this is an exaggeration. I look like Quasi fucking Moto. Like, I am weird looking. And it sucks because, like, you know, if you've ever been to Japan, first of all, those are very petite people. I already feel like kind of a monster over there in a way that I'm sort of into. I was like, wow, I am tall and I am strong in this land. And that was really fun. But now, my face has taken on rather freakish proportions. And I'm like, this is no good. This is bad. And so after thinking about what to do, and like I am kind of freaking out because there's a part of me that's like, I really don't want to get dental surgery in Japan. Like I don't want to get dental surgery in a place where I don't speak the language, because that just sounds like a goddamn nightmare. And oh, nice. And but regardless, I kind of electronic car key. Regardless, I go down to the hotel lobby, and I kind of I get talking to them, and oh shit, 2. One target. Cool. I think I maybe want to save one of my acid vials because I know there's going to be a boss here. Oh shit. Can I heal? Pick balm that can be cured bleeding, burns acid, can be used in the heart of battle. Medication cures most physical ailments. I think I'm gonna die. I think I gotta use acid flask. So like I am shitting it. I am like, this is really bad and I don't know what I'm going to do. So I go down and there's this really lovely man called Kira sitting at the front desk. And I try and explain to him, hey, my jaw's sore and I can't really like eat. And I think I might need to go to a dentist. And, oh shit. Okay, I think this is going to be a powerful enemy. I'm gonna dunk this guy with acid. And he's still going. That's bad. Let's use jump attack. Nice! Okay, we got him. We are now level 7. A video game cartridge. Forget about it. And, so, it's like... It sucks because, like, I am genuinely, like, kind of afraid of, like, what's gonna happen and, like, is this gonna be okay? And Kira, God bless him, I take my hand off my face and he just goes... And he walks me to a dental surgery near the hotel and he stays in the waiting room with me until I am seen by a dentist. And he's like... And then, like, he kind of communicates to me that when a dentist comes to take me, he's like, I must go back to the hotel now. And I'm like, cool, thank you so much, Kira. Thank you so much, Kira-san. And they walk me in, and I have never seen anything like it in my entire life. The way I always describe this is imagine a tic-tac-toe board, and imagine every square is filled with a dentist chair. That is the room I am looking at. There are like 8 dentists in 8 different stations, all working on their patients. And I'm like, oh my fucking god. What is this, you know? And I'm kind of shitting it, but I'm like, that's scary. And eventually this Japanese dentist comes over to me. And this dude is like super handsome. I don't know if I've mentioned that in previous like versions of the story. He's really, really handsome, and I'm like, oh my god, please speak English, please speak English, please speak English. And he comes up to me and he goes, Mr. Walsh, it's a pleasure to see you today. I will be your dental surgeon. And I was like, oh, thank God, thank fucking God. And then I go, oh, hey, thank you so much for seeing me. The problem is that my jaw is after kind of swollen up. And it's hurting a lot, especially when I like bite down on it. And next thing, I watch his eyes just glaze over. And I'm like, oh my god. That one sentence he just said, that is every piece of English this dude has. And so from here, the way we communicate is he takes out this little book. And he points to, like, the hiragana in the book, and I read the corresponding, like, English below it. And that's how he keeps telling me. He's like, we're going to x-ray your teeth, we're going to tap on your teeth, and we're going to, and so, we go through this a little bit, and then eventually he points to this one piece of hiragana, and and he points at it, like, a little slower. There's, like, a reluctance in him pointing to this sentence. And I will never forget it as long as I live, okay? It says, your jaw has become infected with pus. I will cut it open with an electrical scalpel and drain the fluid. and my vision just fucking swims. Like, I am just like, oh good Christ, I am dying. I am afraid. I do not want to do this. But I mean, what choice? Like, there's no way for me to communicate that I'm nervous or that I don't want this to happen. You know? I'm just in it. This is just what it is. I just have to do it. Air to Twitch, how does this happen to you? We will get that. We'll get to that. And so I sit in the dentist chair and I'm like, fuck it. This is my life. This is what's happening. And in fairness to Kira, or not Kira, sorry, that was the hotel guy. In fairness to the dentist, he injects my jaw, and my jaw goes completely numb. I don't feel the incision, but he puts like the suction cup into my thing, and I just see a load of yellow liquid just go out of it, which, jeez, the idea that, ugh. Anyway, so I'm on my way out, and I'm like disorientated, and I don't really know what's happening, and I like take out my little travel insurance form, and I like just hand it. This bit was so weird. I hand it to the woman behind the table, the receptionist, and she goes into a back. She kind of looks a bit puzzled, and she goes into a back room with it.
That's right, boys.
And Mr. Engelhard, thank you for the subscription. And she like punches some numbers into a computer, and then she looks at the computer like kind of confused. And then she calls over another woman. I'm watching this through a crack in the door. They don't know I can see them. She calls over another woman, and they both look at the computer screen, and the other woman like punches in some numbers. And then they both start laughing at the screen, and I can't hear them. I don't know what like they're laughing at. And then they call over a man, and they point at the screen and they look at the man. And then the three of them all start laughing. And I don't know what are they laughing? I just gave them my form. And then she comes back out completely straight-faced and just goes, "We'll need cash." And so I have to like go outside to an ATM and get cash and come back, and I give them the cash. And on the way out, they give me some painkillers. Strawberry Shiv Cake, what a fucking name. Great name. On the way out, they give me some painkillers, and they give it to me, and I still have it somewhere in this house. It's like a little packet and it's an elephant. It's a little purple elephant, and the elephant is shooting rainbows out of his, the elephant's shooting rainbows out of his trunk. Oh, I left out like my favorite part, when he pointed to the sentence that said, "I'm going to cut open your jaw and drain the pus out." Next to that was a picture of a little cartoon tooth, and the tooth was going. And it was such a fucking fever dream. It was such a nightmare. But anyway, she gives me this, and they give me the subscription. And the subscription is addressed to Joho Walsh. Joho. Joho. And for years after that, I took on Joho as like my online alias, because I feel like John is the name I was given. Joho is the name that was earned. That is what I did. You know what? Fuck, I've never actually told the full version of this story, but all at the same time. I'm gonna do that now. Anyway, to conclude the Japan version of this trip, I got back to my hotel, and I'm disorientated, and I'm tired, and the pain meds are wearing off, and all I'm thinking is, I want some soft food I can just like inhale, so because my mouth is too sore to eat anything actually hard. And next thing, Michelle walks into the room, like a little fucking angel. And she is carrying a big bag of Japanese McDonald's. And I look at her, right? And at this point, me and Michelle have been together maybe 6 years. And I look at her, in her cute little outfit, carrying the big bag of McDonald's, and I think, I am absolutely going to marry this woman. And then 14 years later, we got married. And yeah, it's like a really sweet memory now, and it's a funny story, but yeah. But it has a part 2. And the part 2 to this story is that years later, I would travel to Washington by myself to do my first ever MagFest, where I would do Artist Alley at MagFest. And I had put Joho as all my social media because I thought it was funny. You know, it was just a funny part of that story. And I'm staying at this Airbnb. And I get a taxi. And like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. I've never traveled by myself before. I'd never traveled to America by myself before. I don't know how to get to the airport to my Airbnb, and I literally I jump in a taxi, and I'm like, can you take me to this address? And he's like, okay. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And we're on the way there, and I think he was like a Hindi taxi driver, and lovely guy. But he's just telling me, like, horror stories about all the fucked up things he's seen as a taxi driver, and all the, like he's like, are you confident you know who these people are? And I'm like, no. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna go in there with you because these people could be trying to rob you. This address might not exist. You might be being scammed. It could be anything. And it was we're cycling through. We're cycling. We're driving through some like really, really bad parts of Washington, and I am like, oh god, this is so bad. This is so bad. But eventually we keep driving, and we actually get to like quite a nice neighborhood, and it's like got full of like these big villas and stuff, and I'm like, what? This might be all right. And then we pull up to the Airbnb I'm staying at, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like this huge villa that's like borderline a mansion. Like, it's gigantic. And then I start thinking, oh, what if this is like a most dangerous game scenario? What if there's something really fucked up happening here? And the taxi driver, he kind of goes in, and he like knocks on their door, and I can't see what's happening. And then he comes back around and he goes, you're fine, go on, head in. And so I take my bag out of the trunk and I head in, and I am greeted by this giant Jamaican woman. I say giant in like the most loving term. She was a very beautiful lady. She was just extremely like massive frame. And she throws her arms around me, and obviously I'm not going to do a Jamaican accent, but she goes, Joho, it's so wonderful to have you here. And I'm like, Joho? And then I realized I booked the Airbnb through my Facebook. And so to these people, I'm Joho. And I'm like, oh my god, fucking, I need to correct this immediately. I need to correct. I'm like, John, correct them right now, or you're gonna be fucking Joho all week. And I go into the fucking sitting room, and I swear to God, chat, there is a sign. They have printed out this little kind of sign, this banner, and it says, Joho, welcome to MagFest. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. And I'm like, and then she just goes, and this is my husband, Keith. And Keith comes strolling out of the sitting room, big guy, big friendly face on him, and he puts his hand out, and he goes, Joho, pleasure to meet you. And I take this man's fucking bear paw, And I shake it, and I go, pleasure to meet you, Keith. And from that point on, I was Joho. And there was no helping it. And so I I'm going to Magfest, I'm doing my artist alley, and I'm coming back to this place every night. And Pamela and Keith are like fucking awesome. They're so cool. The first night I'm there, they order me this massive big Chinese meal. They order me this delicious meal, and like I had to get a connecting flight to Magfest because I was poor as shit back then, and I had been traveling for like 20 hours, and to be treated to a meal at that point, like it meant so much, and they were so generous. And they also tell me I can take whatever I want from the fish, from a succulent Chinese meal. Yes, meat hands. Yes, they tell me I can take whatever I want from the fridge, and they have all this like fucking like gourmet bacon. They have all this delicious fucking food, and like in the morning I'm making myself just the most delicious eggs and bacon I've ever had, and oh my god, it's so good. And they're sound as fuck as well. Like they asked me about my job in animation, and I just get on with them. Like I really, really like them, you know. But something ain't right. Something is just a little off. And it starts the first night I'm there. I go downstairs, right? And this is the middle of the night. It's like 3 a.m. I'm jet lagged. And I notice there's someone standing in the kitchen. And it's Pamela. And she has her back to me. And she's staring straight into the fridge, not moving. Completely still. And I watch her for like 20 seconds. And I don't want to spook her because I don't know that she knows that I'm standing there. And I'm like, I'm kind of waiting for, like, do I wait for her to turn around, or like, what do I do? And nothing happens. And so after a while, I just go, I just go, hey, Pamela. Nothing. Not a fucking thing. Not a movement from her. Nothing. And I go, this is a bit weird. And I just go back up to my room and, fall asleep. The Woolly Mammoth 00000, thank you. And thank you, Zagaron and Ailey, for the subscriptions. You're very generous, guys. Thank you. And so, I'm, going to Magfest every day. I'm selling art prints. I'm coming home. But every day, it's like there's something not right with this house. For starters, I paid fucking nothing for it. I paid absolutely nothing. And to get all this free food and everything. But there's weirder shit, right? One of the mornings, Keith offers to take me to Taco Bell. So he asked me what I want to do that day. And I was like, I was actually thinking of going to Taco Bell. And he just kind of goes, I'll take you to Taco Bell. And I'm like, okay. And Pamela asked me what I'm doing that day. And I'm like, I'm going to Taco Bell with Keith. And she goes, who's Keith? And I go, Keith. And she goes, oh, Keith. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. And I'm like, what the fucking... What? And like what is going on, So anyway, I go to Taco Bell with Keith, and we walk into the Taco Bell, and I immediately see why he didn't want me to go there by myself. And that is because this Taco Bell, I would say, is as you guys may have noticed, I'm very white, and this Taco Bell is not. And while I most certainly got no issue with that, I don't really fit in as a little white person in an anime t-shirt. And there's a lot of pretty tough looking dudes sitting at tables with no food in front of them. And I'm like, this is why Keith is also black, just to mention. And this is why he didn't want me to go by myself. That makes sense. And I felt like people were like, I think I was definitely getting the side eye a little bit. But anyway, I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I'm like trying to figure out the menu, and I don't know what I want to order because I've never been to a Taco Bell before. And I go over to the Coke machine, and I press the button, and it goes, and what I can only describe as like Coke sludge slops into the bottom of my cup, and it's like it's like really and that's it. And then the machine stops working, and so I just take it back, and I'm there eating my fucking nonsensical Taco Bell order because I don't know what I'm doing. And Keith's talking to me, and he's like, so John, how long you and Michelle been together? And I was like, about I think about 8 years. He's like, about, and he was like, 8 years? And he asked me, he just goes, when are you gonna put a ring on that? And I was like, whoa, what? And he was like, yeah, when are you gonna get married? And I was like, I mean, honestly, like, we've just been together so long now that, like, I don't kinda, I guess we just haven't talked about it. You know, both our careers are just starting out, and we don't have like a super stable income or like a home or anything. And he's like, okay, Joho, let me tell you, God only ordains that has been vilified in his light. And then it all fucking clicks into place. I am staying at a born-again Christian recruitment center. That was Keith and Pamela's whole fucking shtick. They are militants in recruiting people for born-again Christianity. And from this point, I swear to God, chat, especially Keith is on a crusade to save my soul. Every conversation flows back to Jesus. Every conversation goes back to the Lord. And it just gets weirder and weirder, chat, right? There's a point where we're driving back from Taco Bell, and Keith gets a phone call, and I see on his caller ID that it's someone called Priscilla or something like that, some name like that. And he answers it, and he's talking to her, and like, I'm not taking any notice or whatever. And he kind of looks back at me, and he just goes, oh, that was Pamela. And then I'm like, okay. And then I realize, not only have I given these people my incorrect name, they have also given me incorrect names. No one is using their actual name in this fucking clown scenario. And I so anyway, things continue, things get weirder, and so eventually I decide it's my last day in Washington, and I am heartbroken to be leaving because I've had a fucking incredible time. I went to this con by myself. I made friends with strangers. I partied in hotel rooms of people I had never met before. I met so many fucking cool people. It was such an incredible, like, out of my shell kind of experience. Like, I was tossed into so many scenarios where I had to sink or swim, and I value it so much. You know, like, it was awesome. It was absolutely fucking awesome. And the last day I'm there, I'm like kind of heartbroken to be leaving, and all I want to do is take a little walk around National Harbor and just like process like what this trip meant to me. But Keith's like, oh, you can't come to Washington without seeing the White House. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess he's right. But you know what? My flight is at like 6 p.m. And it's like 10 a.m. right now. I have so much time to get to the airport and to make it on time. Keith, you know what? Or whoever the fuck you are, let's go to the White House. And so he's like, right on. And we get in the car and we start driving. And I'm like, I'm going to see the White House. It's going to be cool. I'm going to get a bit of culture. And then later I'm going to pick up that sandwich from that place I like in National Harbor. Sounds like I'm in for a pretty chill day. I'm going to listen to my MagFest playlist, which I was listening to the whole time I was there. And then all of a sudden, Keith's car slows down. And I look around. And we're not in the White House. We're in a neighborhood that I would say is perhaps a real up-and-coming neighborhood. Maybe a neighborhood where people weren't doing so great. Maybe a neighborhood where, once again, someone like me might stand out a little bit. And I kind of look at Keith and I'm kind of like, I don't know how to say it, but I think the message I am trying to force out of my mouth is, Keith, this doesn't look like the White House. And before I can say anything, he looks at me and he goes, no, we're just gonna sit here for a minute. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what is happening? And I'm trying to talk to him, and I'm like, Keith, what's going on? And like, I'm seeing people walk by, and they're like looking into the car, and they're looking at me, and I am absolutely bamboozled. I don't know what's happening. And next thing, a woman comes out of one of the houses. And Keith goes, oh, no way! That's my friend. And he points at her. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, would you mind if I went inside and talked to her? And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I just wanna go in and talk to her for a second. And so before I can say anything, he gets out of the car, he runs over to her, and he hands her a card. As she takes the card, looks at it, looks at him, they talk to each other, and then they both go inside the house. And I'm like, oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. And I'm looking at this neighborhood. I have no idea where I am. I have no idea how to leave this place. And there's crowds of dudes walking by the car, and like they're leaning over and they're like side-eyeing me. They're looking in at me. They're like, what is this fucking person doing in our neighborhood? And I'm like, I'm in that car for what feels like forever. I bet it was only a couple of minutes, but I think it actually was like 20 minutes or something. And so eventually Keith comes back out. And he's like, thank you for that, Joho. And he's like, okay. Joho, do you know, I want to thank you for your patience. And to thank you, I want to take you to the best fish taco place in all of Washington. And I'm kind of intrigued. John, you're a 6 foot tall white guy, 6 foot plus white guy. They probably think you're a Fed. My friends, I am a noble 5 foot 7.5 feet. They look at me and they see a fucking anime twink in a car, okay? So Keith brings up these fish tacos and like he's like excited about them. And I'm like, Okay, yeah, sure thing, Keith. I just want to make sure that we're gonna have enough time. We're gonna have enough time to make it back to, because I really would like to I really would like to spend, a little bit of time in National Harbor before I go. That's kind of important to me. Like, I want to do that. And he goes, Joho, I completely understand. Let's get you to the White House. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so we go to the White House, and I appreciate that Keith is now driving the car very fast, because we're kind of coming up against it a little bit. Like, it seems like I might not have 3 hours at National Harbor. I might only have like 2 hours, or maybe an hour and a half. And he stops, and I see the White House from, like, I don't know, 500 meters away. I'm surprised by how small it is. I'm surprised by how kind of grubby Washington feels. But I'm like, okay, cool. I've seen the White House. That's interesting. And so we're driving home, and I'm like, okay, look, I got 2 hours till I gotta get it's like 3 hours to my flight. We'll be home in like half an hour. I can take a little stroll in Washington Harbor, jump in a taxi, get to the airport. And so we're driving home, and Keith's not saying anything, which has me a little worried, because there's something about this dude that is just spooking me a little, chat. And next thing, we pull off the main road, and we pull into the car park of a large building. And I look around, and I'm like, Keith? And I swear to fucking God, he goes, Joho, I just gotta go into this place, and I just gotta see a friend of mine. And I'm like, Keith, I have to get to the airport. And he just goes, Joho, I promise you everything's gonna be fine. Out the fucking door, disappears up an elevator. I am in a strange car park somewhere in Washington. No idea where I am. No idea what to do. I have no signal on my phone. I like, my phone isn't working in Washington. I don't have like this was back before like you could get like, Sims and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Keith is in there for, I shit you not, chat, I shit you fucking not, an entire hour. He is in there for an hour. And I just don't know. I am just fucking melting down. And he comes back down, and he's apologetic, and he's like, Joho, I'm so sorry that took so long. And I'm like, okay, Keith, I really, really need to get to the airport. I really, really need to get to the airport. And he's like, okay, and he starts driving, and then he starts explaining. He goes, okay, Joho, I just want to explain to you, okay? Earlier on, that woman wasn't my friend. What I do is I approach people of low income, and I buy their property for a reasonable price. I then flip that property for profit. I think it's a noble pursuit, because, I get people out of low income housing, and I, get to make a little money for myself. And, the fact that it's been working, and the fact that I have made such a fortune, to me is proof that God believes in what I am doing. And I just don't even know anymore. And then he goes, and that's also why I just got the nose surgery. And I look at him, and I'm like, what? What did you just say? And he go, we were in the car, and there's a nasal surgery I've needed, Joho. My passages are blocked, and there's a nasal surgery I've needed for weeks now. And I had a glance at the schedule, And it turns out there was an opening today, and I couldn't miss it. And so I felt the Lord's hand on my shoulder, and I felt that I was going to get my surgery and you were going to make your flight. And I'm just like, okay, Keith. I really need to get to the airport because, okay, now it's at the point, fuck my stroll through National Harbour. That's done. I need to get back to National Harbour and fuck a bus. I need to get in a taxi. I need to spend $150 on a taxi to get a taxi from National Harbour to the airport, or I'm going to miss my flight. And so I'm like, okay, Keith, like, it's fine. It's all fine. I don't care. It's cool. It's fine. Just can we please get back to National Harbour? And then he looks at me and he goes, Joho, I don't want you to worry about anything. And he looks at me and he kind of smiles. And I go, oh my God, thank Jesus, thank fucking God. Keith is going to give me a lift to the airport. Keith is going to give me a lift to the airport. This is going to be fine. And then he looks me dead in the eye. And he says, don't worry, Joho. We're going to get you them fish tacos. And I'm like, Keith, oh my fucking God, no, Keith, no, I don't have time. I genuinely don't have time. And he's driving the car and he's like, Joho, I couldn't live with myself if I let you out of Washington without trying these fish tacos. And I'm losing my mind. I'm begging. I'm like, Keith, please. And I'm also conscious that this man is the only way I'm going to get back to National Harbour, so I don't want to piss him off either. And so he fucking pulls into the taco place and he just goes in. And this motherfucker just wanted some fish tacos. And so he comes back in and he comes back in with this massive bag of like 20 fucking tacos. You know, and he puts them in my lap and he puts his bag over to the side. And I'm just delirious. And so he's like, you're not eating your tacos. And I'm like, I'll eat them later, Keith. I'll eat them later. Please just take me home. Please just take me back to National Harbour. And so I go in. I scrape all my shit together. And it's like an hour and a half till my flight takes off. And I'm not even at the fucking airport, right? And I'm dragging all my shit behind me. I jump in a taxi. Like 40 minutes later, I'm at the airport with 50 minutes to spare. 50 minutes to spare. And I'm dragging all my shit through security. And a security agent stops me. And she's like, sir, you can't bring food through security. And I look down and it's my fucking bag of fish tacos. And I'm not joking here, chat. This is what I did. I kneel down in front of security, and I'm just fucking shoving as much fish tacos into my mouth as I can, because I'm also starving. I run through security. I run to my flight. I catch it with maybe like 10 minutes to spare, and I fly home. That is the saga of Joho. Earlier on, Ertza Twitch asked, why does shit like this happen you? I don't know. Brian has always said John just has a weird energy and just gets into situations like this. But I've told a lot of stories like this on stream, and the most accurate summation of it I have ever seen, and I just saw it go by in chat once, and I don't know who said it, John just be living that clown life that has never stopped being true. Thank you for listening to my story. But how were the tacos? They were fucking great, chat. They were so good. Keith was right. They were really good tacos. Will the adventures of Joho continue? I have no say in that, chat. I cannot get off this ride. All I will say is that I have had so many adventures of Joho since that. You guys know the strip club story. You guys know all the other fucking weird stories I've talked about on these. But for as long as I live, I have gotten into stupid fucking incidents like that, and it never stops. You guys want to keep playing some look outside? You know what, chat? I think that might just be today's stream. Maybe we'll play more Look Outside another time, okay? I don't think we're topping that. And I think we just gotta go out on top. What a fucking awesome stream. I didn't think I could have so much fun just shooting the shit for like 3 hours. Yeah, but that... Maybe I'll tell more. Maybe that's what I should do on stream more. Just tell weird stories. Beautiful stream, boss. Thank you, Jules. Guys, listen, I love you. Why don't we raid someone? Who we got? Why don't we raid the fine folks over at Giant Bomb? Oh, guys, little announcement. I'm gonna be at PAX East. If you guys wanna come see me at PAX East, you can. I will be there with Giant Bomb. Please give my best to all the beautiful people over at Giant Bomb. I am very fond of those guys, and be nice to them because they are all friends of mine and they are all awesome. Okay, chat. Listen, I hope you got something out of this stream. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. Listen. Love you all. I'm going to do the raid in a couple of seconds. And yeah, have a great weekend. You guys are the best.